medical marijuana. Ding dongs? Hostess Twinkies, anyone?
There were so many of those jokes. You're
Nobody.
so way behind
The
on
corn
this.
chip stimulus bill.
Corn stim-
Yes. Yeah.
Why was this necessary? I know people are freaking out when they're seeing a dispensary near their King Soopers, but they don't freak out when they see the liquor store near their King Soopers. Why was this
Because
an
liquor
issue?
tastes good, maybe, you know.
It does taste good.
Yeah.
Why was this so contentious? What was the big fight? Why now? Why couldn't this wait a year? It
Didn't you
seemed
think
like
it was funny how it was kind of like not an R&D too? People were mixed up. And
Yes, yeah.
I love those things where
Yeah.
it's like unlikely allies.
So yeah, there were some libertarian-leaning R's that said no, we shouldn't do this, and there were a lot of moralistic Democrats who said I don't want it in my neighborhood. I'm seeing it all over. I'm seeing neon pot leaves in windows.
Well,
I don't want that.
what people are saying is when we approved this back, and I mean even the people said I voted for it, they said nowhere in there did they say that we're going to have pot shops in your neighborhood. We said you could smoke medical marijuana in the privacy of your home, and it's kind of turned into this industry.
Your paper particularly has been critical about it because it codifies these dispensaries. And as you just said, there's nothing in the law that says there will be a bunch of dispensaries, but now we'll have tighter rules, but the dispensaries will be allowed under these new rules. So I guess that's what the legislature wants.
Some people say tax them.
Everybody says tax them except me. Good thing, bad thing?
Well, I mean, I think it's
Good for business. The Denver Business Journal wants this.
Well, I don't think Denver Business Journal's taking a stance on this, but I will say it's one of the few growing industries in the state right now. But ching.
Thank you. He'll be here all next week.
I think it's good for the medical marijuana business in that it does two things. One, it actually sets down these rules. It, as you said, codifies the law. But second, I think there was even a split in the medical marijuana community where you saw a group of stores pushing it to consider themselves the legitimate medical marijuana stores, rather and thinking that there's Johnny Pot Seller who's decided to go legit through this is going to get run out of business because they're not going to be able to get doctors to refer patients to them anymore. So
what does the new law say? New law says that
I didn't cover this. I'm terrible on this.
hometowns can now have bans on dispensaries, that they have to get licensed or they need to pay some sort of fee to be there. That you can't have a doctor who can prescribe it and somebody to sell it to you under the same roof. Is that basically it?
Yeah, and then you have to be a legitimate doctor with a relationship with a patient to actually give them a physical or something rather than have them walk in and say, I've got a cold, here kid, here's your medical marijuana license. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell right there.
Is there any taxing of it?
I don't know. Where does the taxing fall on this one, Lynn?
I don't know because I didn't cover this issue at all, not once.
I think that's still left to the local authorities. I think Southers has come out and said he could see this being taxed. And you'll remember that the town of Fruita about a month and a half ago voted to tax medical marijuana dispensaries, even though there are none in the town of Fruita. So, all right.
Getting ready.
Let's go to the fun stuff. And the best stuff of the legislative session is the gossip. You've got 100 people down there who are wildly different in personality, and they all have to get along, or they all have to fight, and there's always explosions. This one, now we've got a sexual harassment complaint against Wes McKinley, the Cowboys cowboy. I imagine he was hitting on you?
Well, that's like a Time Life video, somebody hitting on me, but supposedly a woman who worked there 2 or 3 years ago said there was the whole tongue thing again, that he tried to stick his tongue down her throat. Then, late, a lobbyist, he filed a complaint against a lobbyist who said that the lobbyist said he was going to stick his lying tongue down his throat.
He's going to cut his lying tongue out. So,
very polite down there. Mm-hmm. It is always fun to get down there and feel the gossip. What was the weirdest thing you saw down there this year? What was the weirdest, stupidest bill? Anyone to put a cat insurance programs?
There wasn't any of those bills this year.
The cat chip program.
Yeah, I mean the
Lexus lane, all those things.
Yes, yeah.
What was the Lexus lane one? To allow feel-good cars?
Year. That was yours.
The zipper lane?
No, the Lexus lane. Wasn't that this year? God, these sessions all run together. Where lobbyists wouldn't have to go through.
Oh, yes, where lobbyists could pass through without going through the metal detectors, which was changed wildly as it went through the legislation.
So for those people who don't know, when you go down to the Capitol now, it's like going through an airport. You got to go through a metal detector, and he wanted I forget who did this, but the lobbyist should be able to get around it.
Well, his thought was, first of all, that line.
Him being who?
Larry Liston. Okay. The line backs up greatly, especially when you have all the school children and all that. Right. And some of these lobbyists have worked in that building for 30 years. So they're like fixtures here. They're part of the brass rail. Some of them are former lawmakers, and so it didn't go anywhere. I think one of the interesting stories of the session really was Josh Penry in a way. He seems like he's kind of there, but running McGinnis's campaign a little bit on the side at first. Then he's, going against his party on natural gas, going against his party on para, signs up to become Jane Norton's campaign manager, gets involved in some Facebook wars with Sean Mitchell, who's in the Senate. Then there's a little thing about kind of should Josh stay on as minority leader, and I thought there was a little bit of drama around our Joshy boy this year.
But he's still a rising star. People want him. It seemed like Jane Norton needed him to prove local conservative credentials and bring him onto the campaign. That was a smooth move for Jane, I think.
No, it was. And they go way back, the Grand Junction Mafia,
Grand Junction Mafia.
I think she's had, before the press about Jane was just the people who trail her and take pictures and send it out on the liberal blogs. I think now they're making their own press.
All right, got a couple minutes left. Let's wrap this up. This is the last session with this governor. And taking a look over his 4 years, I know he wants to be the new energy governor.
Drink. New energy economy.
New energy economy. And for me, what that means is we'll take special interest corporate welfare. Instead of giving it to Exxon, we'll give it to some other energy company that makes something that is warm and fuzzy. So we've increased the mandates on renewables. We've beat up on coal so badly. We've done all sorts of things. Is that what he'll be remembered for? Or will he be remembered as the guy who raised taxes here in Colorado without a vote? What will he be remembered by?
Time's only going to tell what Bill Ritter is going to be remembered by. I mean,
give me your best.
Well, I think the new energy economy governor is really a fair statement. I mean, because his entire 2007 session was dedicated to that essentially, and every year he built on that. And as we said, going out, that was his parting gift to that lobby. I think the other thing that Ritter really wants to be known for, and that this year did move toward his reputation, is the education reform governor. I think he came in with the idea that schools could be better, and I think if you looked at his first year in 2007, he had the idea without having any idea how to get there. And then when you saw some of the Cap for K program, the teacher tenure bill, I think he really decided to take after that in a couple of substantial ways, attacking the hierarchy, the old garden schools.
How do you think he's going to be remembered?
I think it's one of those things you have to wait a while because people look better or look worse in hindsight. I think no matter, he could go down as being a really great, innovative governor with a lot of foresight, but I think people are always going to remember the union thing. And I think it's going to be hard for him. It's kind of the Gerald Ford walking down, the most athletic president we ever had, trips going down the stairs, and that's what he's remembered for. I think he'll have a hard time shaking that forever.
The unionizing the state workers with an executive order. Got it. Lynn, thank you. Mr. Sealover, thank you. And thank you. By all means, tell a friend about it. I got to get this right. Devil's Advocate. Check me out late nights on 850 KOA. We'll see you next week.
Check him in.
Check me in.